has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
Carver High never ceases to amaze me how, when I heard the Prime Minister saying that the guy, got busted a year ago for choking his wife in front of the police. They saw him choking his wife to death, and all the charges were dropped as long as he went to a pre-trial diversion program. Here's a thought for you. If you choke your wife and the police are standing there while you do it, you shouldn't be allowed to play in Major League Baseball at all. And the cops that sat there and watched you do it and did nothing about it, they shouldn't have badges and guns either. And it is amazing to me, how do you get off with like going to see a shrink if you just, choke your wife to death? I mean, strangle her, throw her across the room, put her head through a wall, punch her. What do you have to do now to get thrown out of sports? Like this guy, Watson, 24 women he sexually assaulted. He still denies he did anything. It goes on and on. Ray Rice, don't get me started. I'll be doing this all day. I don't have all day. But it is amazing to me. Now here's this guy, Azuna, chokes his wife, and then a year later gets a DUI. When is someone going to just say, you know what? You're a piece of shack. Get the F out of here. I don't care what we owe you. Just get out. I don't want you around us. You're a bad person. Now, don't tell me he's not a bad person when he continues to get popped year after year from being drunk to being a wife beater. I mean, what more do you have to know? Like, I'm done with it. Like, if I run that team, he'd already be gone. Gone. We're not having it. When are people going to throw down the hammer on these freaks that beat the women? I mean, it is so unbelievable. All you have to do now, you can choke them, beat them, rape them, kill them, and as long as you got money, you'll be back in 11 weeks. That's amazing to me. That is beyond reproach. I cannot fathom. I live in a world where you can get away with beating women like it never happens, and nothing happens to you at all. He loses a little money, gets to go on vacation for 11 weeks. Nothing happens to him. He should be in jail.
You would think so. There was people who wanted him gone last year. There was people that were surprised that they kept him on the team after the incident last year. And now here we go again. Look, and aside from that, obviously this was a separate thing that happened to him last night. He should have gotten in a hell of a lot more trouble for what happened last year. But again, with the thing last night, it's just example number 450,000 that we've talked about in our years together. Why do these guys, I don't understand with all the money they have, how they drive these cars. I don't get it. They have all this money. Like what? You hire a driver, Uber. What's the Uber going to cost you? $50? I mean, seriously, dude. It's just
nobody
amazing.
thinks it's going to happen to them. And I know, literally, let's just be clear. I know hundreds of people that drive drunk all the time.
Oh,
I mean, just all the time. I know people that go out every single night, Friday, Saturday, and they get hammered, and they go to dinner with their friends. And I've been with them. I don't drink. But I drank for 30 years. Trust me, I'm a professional. And all I know is every time I go out, I sit with 6, 7 people at dinner, and everybody's just hammering cocktails. I mean, hammering them. Wine, straight liquor. It's all night for 3 hours. They drink, 7 to 10 drinks. And then they get right in the car and drive home like nothing. Nothing. I know people that drink 2 bottles of wine a day and they drive around, pick up the kids at school. I know 10 of them. And they don't like when I say it, but it's so true. You're a drunk lush, and you're not fooling anyone. Everyone knows when you're a drunk. Okay, everyone knows.
It's very true. We have now, Scotty, NFL preseason, rest of the slate, starting. Your boy Harold Varner, by the way, let us down. He lost a couple strokes today. I just saw
HV3, come on.
But Cameron Forever Young in second place. We, of course, have him in the mix for this weekend as well. NFL preseason continues tonight. We have 3 games. The Patriots and the Panthers, after beating each other up at the joint practices for a few days, they will get together. Mac Jones and healthy Patriots starters are expected to play for a little bit tonight. Matt Rule has already said that it's going to be only second and third teamers for the Panthers. Right now, Scotty, you have this at the Patriots -6. Total actually has creeped down to 39.5 in this one.
Look, I got it at 3. I mean, it was at 3. It's moved in a big way to 6. I still think the Patriots whacked them tonight. I'm all over New England. I got him at 3. I got him to win, lay the points. What was the total?
39.5 it's at now. So I'm on the
I think that's an over.
I'm on the unders this weekend. The Saints are at Lambeau against the Packers, -2.5 now for Green Bay. 38.5 the total in that one.
Yeah, I'm on the Packers and laying the points. I just don't believe in the Saints to begin with. I don't care who's playing, where they're playing. I don't even care if Love throws 3 more picks. He threw 2 TDs and 3 picks. They'll still win the game at Lambeau, and they won't even try.
More preseason when we come back. It would be nice to see Love play a little better tonight. That's for sure.
Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
They play less games.
The early line.
Take a look at the top 4 seeds here in the Big Ten. They're going to play less.
Rodgers and
the morning
Russell
after.
Wilson. We saw movement in the marketplace like
Orlando
Fantasy
Magic.
sports
the
today.
Cleveland Cavaliers are a little thin as well.
Newswire.
-160 favorite on the money line today for Arizona.
Farrell coast to
CBG,
coast.
that's where they win cups. They win Stanley Cups over there. Give me the
Game
Penguins.
time
kind of
decisions.
bizarre when you consider everybody is out for the Warriors.
In-game live
I
all
like
access.
I like Vandy against Bama. I think Vandy can win the game, take it 4.5.
In-game live. Prime time.
The PGA champion.
In-game live. Overtime.
done before the final bet.
Get the winning edge. Only on Sports Grid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
Extra innings, they covered the run line.
Yes,
Over and the run line.
Yes, they did.
So do I like the Ghost Runner in that situation? Sure. I like the Ghost Runner. Yes. It gives me a chance to cover run lines when I
Like the Ghost Runner more than Connecticut?
No, I like Connecticut more than the Ghost Runner.
Oh, what after
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
tirade?
The Bostonian versus the Book. Farrell, coast to coast.
Racking up numbers. We're going with the home run props for both the Jays and the Yankees tonight. So why not get them both to score a ton of runs, Scotty? Yankees and the Jays, both to score 4 or more runs tonight at +210. Maybe the Yankee bats are awake after the Donaldson walk-off grand slam last night.
I think so. Barrios, 5.6. Montas gives up 3.5, 4 runs a game.
The Sports Grid Network.
Sports professor Rick Horrow into the $1.3 trillion business of sports with your daily numbers game. Well, a cautionary tale for those owners and sports executives who want to do the Bryce Harper contracts, the multi-year deals, the Soto contracts, including the Padres. Fernando Tatis, an 80-game suspension for Clostebol under the player agreement. No dispute. Everybody's disappointed. Apparently no appeal, although we'll have to see. Wiping out not only a large part of this season for him, but a significant part of the early part of next season as well. And the bottom line is, guilty or innocent, people always at the front office level run the risk of this kind of event. It's not a permanent injury, but it is a character flaw or a character mar. And for those who have signed long-term, multi-expensive contracts, again, a cautionary tale.
Carver High, I actually just heard Ryan Clark, who I like and won a Super Bowl with the Steelers. I heard him just say that the women in the Watson case are upset at the 11-gamer as opposed to the 6-gamer in terms of suspensions, and that they've been overlooked. And I just disagree with that. They've been overlooked. They've been paid off. They all took the money, but one. When 23 of the 24 women that were assaulted took the money and took the bag, you're out of the conversation now. You took the money. Stop wanting anything else. You got your money. That's what you wanted. The one woman that stood tall, that's the only one I respect. She wants him in jail. That's where he belongs. He assaults women. All the rest of them took a check to go away and signed a nice little piece of paper that said, I'll never talk about this again. And now they want more? What do they want, Sunday brunch? When you take the money, I've lost all respect for you. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody thinks. They're getting nothing from me now. Once you took the money, we're done with you. We're done talking about what your needs are at this point. You lose. You took the money. You got your money for your family. You're all happy now. What else do you want? Roses? I mean, honestly, the only one I respect is the one that refused to buckle. That's it. I've said this 1,000 times. I don't want to hear about it now after the fact. After the fact, it's too late. It's too late. They had their chance to crucify him, and they didn't take it. They all took the money because that's the world we live in now. Everything's about money grabs. Everything. Don't even tell me I'm wrong either, because you're going to lose that argument too. All right, Carver High, where do we pick it up?
We have one more game left tonight out at SoFi. The Texans and the Rams. Texans, Scotty, -2.5 right now in this game. Total of 38.5. Of course, the Texans are going to play a lot of their guys, Davis Mills, etc. The Rams, you know you're not finding anybody that matters on the Rams tonight, Scotty, out there.
Listen, I would let an iguana play quarterback tonight for the Rams, and they'll still win this game. Literally an iguana. I want an iguana starting at quarterback in the first half, and they'll still beat the Texans. The Texans, stop telling me about Davis Mills. My daughter is a better quarterback than David Mills. I have been hearing about this guy Kaplan telling me how good Davis Mills is for 2 years. I can't take it anymore. I got acid reflux. I can't listen to it. They are awful, and the only thing they got going for them right now is Lovie Smith looking like Santa Claus with that white beard.
It's a tremendous beard that Lovie has right now, that's for sure.
Tremendous.
All right, Saturday, 8 games for the NFL preseason, including some afternoon ones. Denver is going to be up in the Below to take on the Bills. We have the Lions and the Colts, Washington and the Chiefs, Bucks and the Titans, as everybody continues to play. Where in the world is Tom Brady down in Tampa this week, Scotty?
I still love the story that he's a horrible father and a horrible partner because he does nothing to help at the house or in the marriage or with the kids and all this other. That's like a great angle, that he left to be a better husband and father. I love that. Taking the kids to summer camp. I'm all for that. Look, I don't care. Tom Brady, he could show up literally with his arms tied behind his back in week 1 and still win 75, 80% of their games and blindfolded too. I don't care what he does in training. Training camp is a time for everyone that doesn't matter to get injured. That's what that is in the NFL. Tomorrow's games, Steelers, Jags. Listen, the Steelers, I just think this is going to be easy work. The Jaguars are starting their starters. Their starters are the worst in the league. I mean, it's the worst team in the league. So the Bills and Broncos, that's the best game. And then I think the Raiders-Dolphins is going to be good. Niners-Vikings and Mini, I like that. Cowboys-Chargers at SoFi. Saturday has great games. Tonight's games stink.
Yep, you're right. The Steelers will be in Jacksonville tomorrow night, of course, and the Cowboys will be in L.A. against the Chargers. The hot internet rumor with Brady today is, Scotty, that he went off to film The Masked Singer on Fox. Of course, you know, that's the hot internet rumor. Not confirmed, of course. But that's what everybody's running around.
That's the worst show in the history of worst shows ever on television. I have no idea. I've seen the commercials for it, And I'm just not a person that's ever going to watch something like that ever. Not once ever.
Well,
I just got done with 6 years of Better Call Saul. I can't. Animal Kingdom, Sons of Anarchy. I don't have any time for these soft ass. Let me see who's wearing a mask and singing opera. There's only one Pavarotti, Carver High. Only one. There's only one Andres Cantor. You don't have any, you can't have all these other shows that don't matter trying to fool people.
No, you cannot have that. Sunday, we have 3 games. The Eagles and the Browns, Bengals and the Giants, Ravens and the Cardinals on Sunday night. So 3 games for you on Sunday.
The Ravens haven't lost a preseason NFL game since before Christ.
Yes,
honestly, it's been that long. 21 in a row.
Mm-hmm. They're going to make it 22. They'll go for 22, I guess, on Sunday night.
Why not? Arizona stinks.
Why not? Why not? Yeah, why not? There you go. There is a game on Monday night. We will talk about that on Monday when we reconvene for Coast to Coast. I believe the Jets and the Falcons, Scotty, play on Monday night.
What a thrill that'll be for everyone. That's as bad as Seattle and Chicago last night.
It will be a thrill on Monday night. All right, we've got a lot of baseball to do. Let's start with a couple of things from last night, Scotty. Everybody thought that the Yankees' dramatic win on Wednesday night, where they had the walk-off grand slam from Josh Donaldson, would kind of get them going again. Not the case. Frankie Montas did not pitch well at all. In fact, put them in a 5-0 hole very early, Scotty, but we did ring the bell with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on Sportsnet in Toronto.
Money.
Well hit ball to deep right field. Judge is back, and it's gone! Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with an opposite field 3-run homer. And the Blue Jays are out to a 5-0 lead.
I mean, I bet on the Jays last night. I told you that the Donaldson Grand Slam was a facade. They are playing terrible baseball. They got lucky and hit a Grand Slam in the 10th to win that game miraculously because they're still playing terrible baseball. They got roughed up from the jump last night. And as I told you yesterday on C2C, I am all over the Jays, and that bet hit as well.
Oswaldo Cabrera did get his first major league hit, Scotty, for the Yankees double. He actually had 2 hits last night in the game for the Bombers.
Jeter.
That's the only way he'll stay in the lineup is if he hits, because they can't wait to get young guys out of there if they don't do well. So you need to hit to be able to stay in the lineup for the Yankees. Here's Aaron Boone, Scotty. Is he taking a peek at the standings lately with all these losses? He says no. I don't believe him. Here he is.
I don't know about worry. I worry about everything.
I apologize for being more specific. Worried about the lead in the division because you had such a big lead.
No, this is about us playing well. If we play well, that takes care of itself. Obviously, we haven't played well enough in the last 10 days.
10 days.
So I think it's more just a rough patch of us not playing well. We have to play better. But I don't sit there and think about this lead or. It's about us handling our business. If we do that and play the game we're capable of playing the rest of the way, we'll be in good shape, but we got to do that.
Carver High, please. They haven't played well for 6 weeks, not 10 days. It has been 6 weeks of this that has been going on, one loss piling after the next. And let me tell you something. Those fans, as you know, and I've been there a million times, I'm a bleacher creature. I got induced into that in a hurry. All I know is they're not going to put up with Frankie Montas' garbage. He has looked terrible as a Yankee, and they went out and got him. It's the typical Yankee response. Let's go get whoever we want, and we'll just see if it sticks against the wall. Frankie has been terrible since they got him, and I don't know if it's going to get any better. They're going to turn on him.
Your heart's racing.
The clock's running out. It all comes down to this. We're talking pregame. Pregame. Get locked in with Game Time Decisions. Your hosts, Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart, will get you ready for game time. Everything you need to know before a game goes off the board, with the bet slips to back it up. Make your best bet with live odds updates, late breaking news, up-to-the-minute injury reports, and real-time analytics from inside the sportsbooks. All the odds, all the action, from sports wagering insiders and industry pros like Donnie Rightside, Cam Lou, Cousin Sal, the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, and more. Get the winning edge every weekday afternoon from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern, 3 to 4 Pacific. It's Game Time Decisions. Only on Sports Grid.
You might be the next daily fantasy millionaire. No matter what you watch or where you play, learn from the world's best DFS players. Lineup building tools, expert projections, and advanced stats change the way you play the game. Dominate the competition. DailyRoto.com, the player's choice.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
How relevant is season-long fantasy now? Like, do you hear people talking about season-long fantasy, or is it just because we're in Vegas, we're in the bubble, and we never hear about it?
It's mentioned, but it used to be the thing.
Right.
It's not the thing anymore. And for you guys that are in fantasy and stuff, it's just the reality. Again, it's not personal. It's not as important as it was. I loved it.
The Bostonian versus the Book. Ferrall, coast to coast.
Racking up numbers. We're going with the home run props for both the Jays and the Yankees tonight. So why not get them both to score a ton of runs, Scotty? Yankees and the Jays, both to score 4 or more runs tonight at plus 210. Maybe the Yankee bats are awake after the Donaldson walk-off grand slam last night.
I think so. Barrios, 5.6. Montas gives up 3.5, 4 runs a game.
The Sports Grid Network. Fantasy Sports Today.
To show you how thin tight end is, TJ Hawkinson with these numbers, 583 is the 7th overall tight end being drafted.
He's going to be with Dalton Schultz. All right, Dalton Schultz, Hawkinson, Goddard. Might put Zach Ertz in this tier as well. He was really good when he came over to Arizona last year. He's in that tier. But still, he's a good, solid tight end. If you don't want to spend a second, third round pick on the guys I just mentioned, the top tier.
The Sports Grid Network.
All right, Ferrall, back on Coast to Coast. FIFA has announced that over 2.4 million tickets have been sold for the World Cup in Qatar. Namely, that Qatar, the USA, England, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Arab Emirates, France, Argentina, Brazil, and Germany lead the list of those rankings of purchases by country. And it's just going to be phenomenal. Speaking of Argentine, the great, legendary Argentinian-American broadcaster, the one and only Andres Cantor, joins us from Miami today. We tried to get him on last week. Thank God we got him today to clarify all of this and get us fired up for the greatest sporting event in the world. Andres, so great to see you, and I've been a fan of yours forever, as millions are. I have to tell you that one of the things in my career of 40 years in television and radio, the favorite thing I ever did was I was a huge David Letterman fan. And when Letterman had me on his show in 96, it was like the greatest moment of my life. And then to have the guy invite me back on 2 years later in 98, I almost fell over. What was it like for you in 94 to go on Letterman? At the time, did that mean as much to you as it did me, because you were already a titan in what you did all over the world? Was that a big deal for you as much as it was for me?
It certainly was. Scott, how are you? Nice to be on your show. He was the king of late night television. How could I not be thrilled? The only thing that I can add is that I've called in that 1994 World Cup, I called every single game. It was 56 games. So I went on his show on my very first day off. They had to really convince me to go on that show because I wanted to disappear from the face of the earth. But obviously, being there with David Letterman was a thrill in itself.
What is that like trying to handle a load of broadcasts like that, calling the games, and particularly the way you call a game, which is unequaled by your peers? The level of energy that you use it's psychotic how brilliant you are calling a game. What does it do to you physically and emotionally calling that many games?
Well, it takes a toll for sure. I do get physically exhausted. Sometimes what happens is when I'm off tubing a game, like let's say from our studio in Miami, which is played at night in Europe, and it's dark, and you know they're playing with artificial lights, and it could be 10 o'clock here in Miami. I get out of the studio at noon, and I think it's time to go to bed because I'm so much into it. But you know, a World Cup it only happens once every 4 years, so I'm up to the task and ready to go this time around. I don't think I'm gonna get to do that many games, but hopefully I will be able to call 2 games per day, starting November 20th on Telemundo Universo on Peacock.
Yeah, it's just gigantic, your gig. What has it been like for you in your career to rise to such epic proportions as a broadcaster and to be able to call all these great World Cup games? Like, I know that your fascination with the Argentinian teams, the glory teams with Maradona and, of course, Messi, what he's done in his career. Can you fathom, as a little boy, what's happened to you in your life? You've earned all of it respectfully, but can you even believe what you've done in your life? It's got to be crazy to you.
Yeah, it certainly is because really I did not seek my moment in fame. I am super glad, and I'm not being overly humble. I'm humble here. I am just very glad that I am able to do what I love most, which is call soccer matches and go to the biggest games around the world and have the best seat in the house. You know, on top came all the recognition and fame, quote unquote, if you will, and the endorsements and the movies and this and that, and the cameos I meant. But, you know, I didn't seek any of this. I just wanted to be around the game, and I'm so happy that, you know, I've been around for so many years now, and we'll be going into my 12th World Cup, and I get the same butterflies as in the first. So nothing really has changed. I just, you know, sometimes pinch myself and say I am very lucky that I get to do the job that I always wanted to do, and get paid for it.
So we were going to have you on the show, and we had technical difficulties, and then Messi had that bicycle kick goal in that PSG game, and also that back toe tapper to Neymar. And I was watching the game, and I thought to myself, man, I cannot believe that I could have had Cantor on talking about this. Go back and talk to me about what that guy means to you, watching him play, and the, frankly, frustrations he's had at the international level with the Argentinian teams not being as great as they used to be when Maradona was winning World Cups.
Well, that is exactly his problem, that Messi has Maradona in his life, in his path. Maradona won the World Cup for Argentina in '86. We became runners-up in 1990. And obviously, you know, the Argentinian fans are extremely, extremely tough on their national team, and they don't want them to reach the final. They want them to win the final. So Messi has got a load off his back after Argentina won Copa America last year, beating Brazil in Maracanã Stadium in Rio. So he is much relieved. The rest of the team is playing so much better without that heavy lifting they had to do because they had lost 3 finals in a row, 2 Copa America finals to Chile and the Brazil World Cup final against Germany. So now, Messi, he probably knows that this is his last best shot at winning the World Cup. And believe me, Scott, when I saw him in the air doing that bicycle kick, I said to myself, please land safely, because he could have dislocated his shoulder, broken his elbow. I said, this is it. That will be it for Argentina. But I think he has a good team around him, and you never know. I think Argentina might go far.
Do you think that he'll ever come play in Miami for Beckham to end his career like a lot of the great players are doing now? Rooney did it. Bale's doing it now in Los Angeles. There's been talk of it already that he would want to finish in the MLS. Are you buying or selling that?
It will be his choice. He's got 1 more year in PSG in France. They are talking of renewing him so he can finish his career there. I know he owns property here in Miami. He obviously doesn't need the money. He would just come pretty much for a lifestyle change. He's got 3 beautiful children, and I'm pretty sure he might want to try the American way of life and perhaps not only end his career here, but stay and live here forever, where this is probably one of the few places in the world where he can pretty much go to the beach and not be bothered that much, or walk the streets, get lost somewhere in Pembroke Pines and go to the supermarket, and not get mobbed. So he might like that and give it a chance. I don't know. But for now, he's stuck at, he's not stuck. He's got a very good contract at PSG. We'll see.
How do you think it's going to go in Qatar in November, as opposed to we'd be watching it over the last month in the summer, but because of the heat and every other reason, it's going to be Thanksgiving to Christmas, basically. It's very strange for the World Cup. What are your thoughts on that? And how do you think, frankly, the Americans will do finally after missing out so many times? And really, we're trying to make this sport popular in America, and they need to do well for it to really take off here, because the MLS isn't that popular. I know it's cool and packed stadiums and everything else, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. It's still, to me, the Premier League and the Champions League are all that matter. And people here don't care about La Liga or Bundesliga either.
Yeah, you might be right. I think, U.S. has its own fan base, really. Soccer doesn't need to compete with any sport in America. It doesn't need to compete with NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball. It has its own niche, if you will. You said they pack stadiums, and you have to consider that there is a great appetite for soccer in this country. Just look at the deal that CBS Paramount struck today for their Champions League rights. They paid $1.5 billion for 6 years. That is a lot of money, if you ask me. And then what do I think about the World Cup in November? I think it's going to be great, in all honesty, because like you said, we would have already watched the World Cup in the summer. The elite players, the Cristiano Ronaldos, the Leo Messis, would have played that World Cup after having an exhausting 60-plus game season. And now, by the fact that they moved it to November, they will get there in their prime after, 23, 24 matches at the most, 16 Premier League and then Champions League. So they're going to be on fresh legs, and hopefully that will make for a better quality of play.
I think it's going to be fabulous. Listen, everyone, you can catch the World Cup on NBC, NBC Sports, Telemundo, Peacock, and the legendary, the one and only, the unequaled, the genius of Andres Cantor. Mr. Cantor, a pleasure beyond words to have you on Coast to Coast and Sports Grid today. We look forward to watching you in Qatar. Thanks so very much for spending time with us.
Thank you.
Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
People are going to the betting window
Betting
and
above
betting
the
them now
rim.
before the trade takes place.
How dare
Diamond
they do
bets.
what's fiscally responsible? See how it plays out. Buffalo's going all in right
Football
now. They need
full
to put
circle.
all their chips in the middle of the table. It's do or die.
And Godwin being out, they've had a little bit of a shakeup.
In-game live all access.
You could take the points, you could take the money line, and
We have to go to San Jose too. Maybe a small play on San Jose. I'm gonna go both underdogs here. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Wow. In-game
Phillies
live.
here,
Prime
over minus
time.
128. You do have to lay up a little bit of wood here, Donnie, but I think against Patrick Corbin.
But boy, you want to give me 8.5 points with a desperate team facing
Get
elimination.
the winning edge. Only on Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The morning after.
Chargers a playoff team in 2022.
Our concern, our chief concern right now, no pun intended, is that the Chargers have had a habit of blowing games late, and it continued with the new coaching regime. I do think they are one of the teams that I can pencil in. I wouldn't put them in pen, but I'd pencil them in.
The Sports Grid Network. The Bostonian versus the Book.
The next two Super Bowls for us are going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, just ridiculous. So I cannot wait to see what's going to happen in Arizona.
really hope it's not the Patriots.
Oh, could you imagine that?
No.
Mac Jones in the Super Bowl in year 2? Oh, man.
Stop talking.
The Bostonian versus the Book. Ferrall coast to coast.
Is it that much better than the Phillies?
I mean, I would say that probably as a staff, as a whole, the Braves staff is probably not as good as 1 and 2 of Philly, but I think from 3 on down, I do think Atlanta's better. And remember, some of those starting pitchers that are not going to start for the Braves are going to be coming out of the bullpen in a series like that in the wild card. So,
the Sports Grid Network.
So, Carver, you knew that I had the Ferrall rig worked on the other day. I told you about all the stuff I was having done to the vehicle, and I left it. They had it for a couple days because they couldn't get a caliper or something like that. And they finally got the part, and they fixed it or whatever. So I went and I drove it today for the first time, and I was driving the car, and all I heard was wah, 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 wah. When I hit the gas, I'm like, I thought I heard someone next to me, like a car next to me with like that it was their problem, like that maybe they had something wrong with their muffler. I wah wah wah, and then finally I looked and I was driving. I was the only car, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's my car. So I went back to the place and I was like, there's this crazy noise. It sounds like wah wah wah, like the commercial where they show the people making the noise. And the guy lifted up the hood to see what was wrong, and they had forgot to put the air filter lid back on the air filter, so it was completely off in my engine. And when he opened up the hood to check the engine, all I saw was @SportsGrid and @SportsGrid TV all over, like a giant logo that had been placed on my engine. And it's beyond me how Rebecca Harrelson got those logos inside my car engine. I think she's like playing a joke on me or something.
That's possibly what it is, or maybe they're just installing those now in all the newer models. So it's possible that they were getting those pre-installed underneath the hoods of all of those cars. It's very, very possible that that's the case. All right, we have more baseball to get to from last night before we get to a very, very big slate tonight with everybody playing. By the way, the balls keep flying out at Wrigley, Sky. I mean, there's been like 6, 7 home runs hit in this game between the Cubs and the Brewers. Yes, there is a lot going on right now. Let me give you up to the moment. 8-7 now. The Cubs lead the Brewers 8-7 in the top of the 7th inning. The wind is blowing out.
I got the Cubs on a ticket.
Last night, the Buccos were able to get one from the Red Sox, Scotty. And once again, I mean, man, Brian Reynolds, I guess he really took what Dennis Eckersley said to heart. He hit 1 home run on Wednesday night, and then last night, Scotty, he hit 2 home runs against the Red Sox, both of them 2-run shots. Here's the second one on AT&T Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
High fly ball to right field, going back, and number 3,000 on Roberto's birthday. Reynolds second, his 20th, 6-0 Pirates.
I'm a little confused with the 3,000 because he has 3,000 of nothing.
That was the 3,000th home run hit at PNC Park. Was the Brian Reynolds home run. So the 3,000th homer. And your boy tied in Clemente there. Probably didn't need to do that. Made it more confusing, but 3,000 there for him. The Rays beat the Royals 7-1 last night. Randy Arozarena, Scotty, putting it away. The RBI double in the 7th on Bally Sports, Florida.
Arozarena 0 for 1 with 2 walks and drives it into right field deep, all the way to the track, and that ball's going to be off the wall. Diaz scores. Lau goes to third. It's a double for Arozarena. And the Rays continue. This is their 6th consecutive hit of the inning.
I mean, honestly, what game didn't I hit last night? And Mafia just said something to me. Hold on a second. 2,600 of the 3,000 hits were hit by the other team. Only 400 homers by the... Screw you, Mafia. Sorry, Carver.
Also last night, we had the Braves beating the Mets 3-2 in Atlanta. So they take 3 out of 4 from the Mets down there after losing the 4 out of 5 at City. Almost a wash. Big win for them. DeGrom had 9 Ks, Scotty. Was not enough. Tie game in the 7th. Michael Harris, the go-ahead double on Bally Sports.
With his new contract.
3 balls, 2 strikes again. The pitch. On the ground, that's going to sneak into center field. Grissom around second on his way to third. They're going to wave it. Here comes the throw toward the plate. It's cut off. Throw! Safe!
Wow, very exciting. So the Mets beat the crap out of them at City, and the Braves return the favor.
They certainly did. So now the Mets will head to Philadelphia with a now 3.5 game lead in the National League East after losing 3 out of 4 down there. You already talked about Ozuna. He's having a bad day. He's had a bad year, to be quite honest with you, all the trouble that he's been in. But Ozuna arrested on the DWI charge. Sandy Alderson, Scotty, said that Steve Cohen is going to a payroll in the $345 million range next year. That it's very possible that he could go into the $345 million range. And I know one guy who already plays in New York that would significantly raise his payroll a lot higher if he was ever able to get into the talking stage, which I think he will. And you know who I'm talking about. He plays right field for the Yankees.
You know, I actually, I got to be honest, I don't believe for 1 minute that Judge has the stones to go play for the Mets and think that he's going to have any kind of a smooth transition over to Queens and that he's going to be able to just roll around New York and everyone's just going to laugh it off. If he's leaving the Yankees, which I don't believe for 1 minute he is, because they're going to give him $400 million. If he leaves, I think he'll go as far away as possible. I don't believe he'll even be in the American League.
I think he's going to make them sweat in the offseason. I think that he is going to get other offers. He might not leave. He might, at the end of the day, get his $400 million and stay. But I think he's upset with the Yankees from what happened right before the season, and I think he's going to play with them a little bit and get other offers from teams.
You know as well as I do, and I've been around the block a few times. There has never been in my lifetime of 57 years, there is nothing, no one can do better than winning with the New York Yankees. If you win with them, I don't care how much money they spend. I don't care what you think of New York. I don't care what you think of baseball. The fact, it's simple. Ask Reggie Jackson, anyone that's ever won with the New York Yankees. There is nothing like winning with them and playing for the Yankees and wearing pinstripes. Not the Dodgers, not nobody. And people are always talking about the Cubs. The Cubs are like a bowel movement compared to the New York Yankees. Let me tell you something. There is nowhere that you can get off like you can get off playing for the New York Yankees. If you win the World Series with the New York, ask Jeter, ask anyone that's ever played baseball that knows anything that's played for them. There's nothing like winning in New York. Nothing. There's nothing that compares to it. The Braves win the World Series. Well, they have a parade down Peachtree Street. Give me a break. And everybody knows it. The Yankees are all that matters. He's not leaving the Yankees for some other candy-ass team to win. What, with the Giants? I mean, what do they do when they win? Have some Pinot Grigio? I don't even know. Like, you win in the Bronx. Let me tell you, you talk about a madhouse. When they win in October, you know it, Mike. Don't even tell me I'm wrong. There's no way he can get off anywhere else.
I'm not disagreeing with you on any of that. All that I'm saying is he's going to make them sweat in the offseason. He is going to make them think that he is not coming back or that he's got a bigger offer somewhere. I think he's going to screw around with the Yankees because of what happened before the season.
I don't think it's going to do him any good to do that.
It might not. It might not, but I think that this is not going to be something where the season's going to end and, 10 days later they announce some big extension for Aaron Judge. I think that there's going to be some contentious back and forth between the both of them this coming off season.
If they don't sign him, then I fire Cashman and Boone, and Hal has to change everything up. And I've said it before, bring Jeter in. People can laugh all they want, and Derek Jeter will take that job in 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Because I've heard that, he's CEO in Miami and everything else. To him, that was like being in prison, being in Miami with the Marlins. That's prison. The Marlins are a joke. Even when they won in 97 and 03, a joke. No one cares about that team at all in South Florida, not even the old people. And you can quote me on that. If the Yankees call, one phone call, it's over. He'll be the GM. I am telling you, it's already Cashman's last days. They have had this guy there forever, and all they do is lose now. I'm done with it. Wow. Tell me Yankee fans aren't done with his ass, his old crusty ass. His winning is over. And you know what's funny? They give him all the credit, Mike, for all this, the dynasty. It was Mariano Rivera, and go on and on the list of greats. Jeter, don't get me started on the names. I'll be here all day of those dynasty teams. And they'll give Cashman the credit for it. Cashman is a little white boy that got lucky that he got tagged with all those superstars. And then look at him now without all the superstars. He can't win if it hit him in the face.
Yeah, I was going to say he might not even, depending on how this year ends, he might not even be involved in the Aaron Judge contract.
You're right. I think you're right.
At the end of the year, especially if they don't find themselves deep into October. The Nationals beat the Padres last night 3-1. 1-1 game into the ninth. Darvish was still out there, and they ended up giving up. Hader's actually the guy, Scotty, that ended up giving up a couple of runs in the ninth. He came in after Darvish put a few guys on. Hader has been awful for the Padres since that trade.
That's because there's something wrong with him, Mike. Because I told you, that's why they got rid of him. That's why they got rid of him. It's not because they didn't want to pay him. It's because his last weeks in Milwaukee, he was getting lit up like a 5-foot bong, and now he's getting lit up in San Diego. There's something wrong with him. I will bet my life in the offseason you're going to hear his arms all messed up. Watch, shoulder, elbow, guaranteed. Something's wrong with him because now he can't get anybody out. And tell me I'm wrong. I'm not even wrong.
Tatis Jr. met with A.J. Preller, the general manager. He's expected to address teammates before the end of the week. I mean, what's he waiting for? I guess he's eventually going to talk to him. Whatever, man.
Waiting for them to believe him. Because if you're a sucker You're going to sit there and listen to this guy and what? Kiss his ass and give him a hug and tell him you love him?
No.
I wouldn't even want him in the room. I wouldn't even, like, if I were on that team, I'd be like, what are we having a team meeting for this junkie? I'm done with this. Anyone that believes the haircut and ringworm story, you're an absolute idiot, okay? Yeah. And his fat father, I'm not listening anymore to any of it. I don't want to hear your excuses. I'll see you in May because you're finished in baseball until then, know-it-all. He got all that money and he's a juicer. That's it, end of story. We should call him Fresh Squeezed from now on. How's that for a nickname? Fresh Squeezed Juice. Your boy's a juicer, and he always has been. All those numbers of his are fraudulent, and everyone in San Diego can kiss my ass.
The fat father, Fernando Tatis Sr. There you go. All right, I'm going to have to hold off with Tony. We'll do this day in sports. At the top of the hour, we're going to play La Russa. Now, listen, right. when you lose 21-5, we got to check the temperature with Tony and what he thought of that kind of a loss. So we'll hear from Tony La Russa, Scotty, at the top, and then we will get into all of tonight's games. Everybody is in action aside from the Brewers and the Cubs who are going on right now. So a lot more to do. Maybe I'll even throw you the Pujols Grand Slam if we have time to. I know how much you like Albert.
They are still falling backwards, the White Sox. They're falling back to where they were before. I mean, we might as well just write them off, and then they're going to fire La Russa after the season.
If you want to pick like a pro, you need to be in the know. The future of sports gaming is now, and we take you inside the lines, breaking down all the action and what it means for your bet slip. Turn down the game and tune into Sports Grid Radio. Other networks talk sports talk, but we walk the walk, right up to the window. Sports Grid Radio. Listen free on the Sports Grid Radio app, iHeart or TuneIn, or catch us on SiriusXM Sports Grid Channel 159.
Maurice Allen, 2015-2016 European Long Drive Tour champion, 2017 world number 1. Me personally, I keep my game face on me all the time. Especially coming out of the bunker, leaving the range, or even leaving the course. What's your story?
The early line.
Are we sure? One last time, piece of, kind of housekeeping here. Are we sure that Shohei Ohtani is out of this MVP race?
Based on the season and the way it's going, and the fact of the matter is yesterday would be a needle-moving game for Shohei Ohtani, and it moved no needles. That leads you to believe that this race is over.
Only on Sports Grid. Ferrall, coast to coast.
Joe Burrow is back at camp playing for the Bengals the last couple of days. Scotty, yesterday, spoke to the media. They asked him, you worried about the new contract, new money coming in, change the name of the stadium. They're loading up to pay Joey Burrow.
He owns that city. He owns that state. They are going to have to give it, literally, he's going to be the governor.
The Sports Grid Network. The morning after.
I'll bet more on preseason football and literally than I'll bet on the regular season as far as sides go. So following market capping, literally following the media, following your socials. There's so many different things to look at here. If you're not beating things like preseason football, you probably should get a different hobby. It's that simple.
The Sports Grid Network. Fantasy Sports Today.
They went out and they signed DJ Shark, formerly of the Jacksonville Jaguars, to a contract, and Shark was an afterthought in Jacksonville. And maybe it's predominantly because of the offense that they were running last year under Urban Meyer, but Shark basically was in and out of injuries. He had some hand issues, and he only caught 154 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns.
The Sports Grid Network.
It's time for another exciting edition of Today in Carver High History.
Certainly is. 1957, the New York Giants, the baseball team, board of directors vote 8-1 to move the franchise to San Francisco the following year. 1965, Reds pitcher Jim Maloney throws his second no-hitter of the season. How about that? 1969, the Cubs' Ken Holtzman no-hits the Braves. 1983, LSU player Billy Cannon is sentenced to 5 years in jail for counterfeiting. Jeez, can you imagine what they would give these kids today? 1983 also, the Dodgers trade Dave Stewart and Ricky Wright to Texas for Rick Honeycutt. 1984, Lee Don't Call Me Jose Trevino wins his second PGA championship. 4 shots over Harrow's boy Gary Player and Lenny Watkins. 1988, New York Rangers sign Canadian great Guy Lafleur out of retirement. How did that work out? 1995, Mike Tyson returns to the ring after serving 3 years in prison, and he DQs Peter McNeely in 89 seconds. Remember that nonsense? 1997, the Yankees' third baseman Wade Boggs pitches a scoreless inning in Anaheim. 2001, David Toms, that's right, wins his first major when he takes the PGA Championship by 1 stroke over Phil Mickelson after a hole-in-one on 15. Let's go. It's ace time.
Let's go to 15.
David Toms on the tee.
That's a 5-wood, high in the air and straight at the flagstick.
Good looking shot.
Sit on it.
Great announcing there. We have no idea what happened.
Feel the excitement right there. I mean, those guys are just as bad as the guys on NBC putting me to sleep now. 2010, Roger Clemens indicted on 6 counts of perjury for allegedly lying to Congress about his steroid use. He's still one of the greatest pitchers of all time. And in 2018, the Joker and Federer in the final of the Cincinnati Masters, first player to win all 9 Masters, 1,000 tennis tournaments. Who cares? It's the Cincinnati Masters.